This is going to be the biggest philosophy. If you can take anything away from this episode, please just take this one. So I want to show you right now how to be able to be in shape with abs all year round, because I did a poll on my Instagram not that long ago, and we're just going to do this while we walk and talk. I'm literally starving right now, so I actually want to get this on the roll and get some food with us. And so I did a poll on Instagram not that long ago asking about if you would actually want to be able to see this, and well, you all said yes at the end of the day. So I think this is the most boring thing in the world, but you're going to get it anyway. And so when it comes down to it, I think one of the biggest problems so many people have is the advice that you're getting is from 20-something-year-old dudes, usually, that have nothing else, to be perfectly honest, other than training and eating and just working on their physique 24/7. Now, their hearts are not in the wrong place by any means, but what's really important is you need to be able to take advice that people that can give you advice for what it is that you need. Now, if someone's just regurgitating what they're doing, especially if they're regurgitating, and this is the problem, if they're regurgitating what works for them and that has nothing to do with you, well, you can't expect a plan like that to work for you at the end of the day. So, myself, CEO of a company, I consult with multiple businesses, a father of 4, I don't have a lot of spare time. It's not like I can spend hours in the gym every day. It's not like I can be trying to spend heaps of time figuring this out. We're literally been shooting interviews and working today. We're running in here to be able to get some food. We've got to find out, where are those protein bars, Chad? Those real good ones. I want to show you something. Oh, they're this way. All right, sorry. So you've got to be able to treat yourself a little bit. You've got to do this. Oh, you were in a different Whole Foods, weren't you? Okay. So, what I want to share is going to be the philosophy of food that it's not even here. It's over here. Okay, sweet. So these protein bars are super hard to find. My philosophy on food covers a basic couple of premises, which is why I'm able to stay in shape. But I've got to share one thing before that, and that's going to be the case of I'm not coming from someone that's been in shape all my life. Far from it, and here we go. Oh, these are so good. What flavors do you reckon?
I think that's what I did.
Dark chocolate peanut butter? Do you want one?
Sure.
Yeah, he wants one. Chad wants one. Okay. So, typically, a lot of people out there are giving advice that have been in shape all their lives. It's something super easy for them. And I want you to know that's not the case for me at all. Well, the truth is, I was really overweight as a kid. I really struggled with eating. I really struggled with self-confidence, suicidal ideation, depression, none of that good stuff. And then I finally learned to be able to lose the weight, and then I became a personal trainer. Then I thought it was a good idea for me to compete as a fitness model, which I competed in Denmark, in London and in Australia as well, which was amazing, but to be perfectly honest, it wasn't mentally healthy at all. And that's where I actually battled with bulimia at the end of that, and that's when I stopped competing because I found out I was doing it for the wrong reasons at the end of the day. Oh, where are the Brussels sprouts at? Oh, there are the Brussels sprouts. All right, sweet. What's that saying? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Can I get a small box of the Brussels sprouts, please? So let's actually go into the philosophies of what I do with my food at the end of the day. The first one that I think is a real big one and really important and makes life so much easier, and I've got to preface this to begin with as well. I'm not counting calories, I'm not weighing foods, I'm not doing any of that stuff as well. Now granted, I did used to do that stuff, so I can eyeball things probably pretty easy, but I don't think that's what it's about. Because the first kind of like rule that I might put this under in my philosophy of food is going to be quality over quantity. I want to be eating good quality foods. That's perfect, that's amazing, thank you so much. If I'm thinking quantity, like how much food that I need to be eating the whole time, you have to weigh foods, you have to be able to count calories and do all that stuff. But if I'm thinking quality first, I'm really just, honestly, I'm just want to satiating myself. I know how much food I need to put on, and if I'm not like satisfied, if not full from the meal, I'll put some more food on my plate and I'll eat it from there. So I really think quality over quantity, and that's where I've got to be brutally honest. I don't eat gluten, I don't eat dairy, I don't have like processed sugars, and I keep it really simple at the end of the day. Which comes into the second philosophy, which is I'm going to be eating the same type of meals pretty much all day, every day as well. Thank you. If you're constantly trying to make things really complicated, and this just might be the Stoic philosophy kind of like coming through with me, I really enjoy the simplicity of it as well, because if it's too hard, if it's too complicated, it's not going to be something that you can keep up. It's not something that you're going to enjoy because it becomes hard. And it goes into that too hard basket and it's not fun whatsoever. Now, I know one question is going to be coming up and it's going to be, well, how much do you eat? And you kind of want some sort of gauge. Now, really honestly, it's going to be about 2 to 3 meals a day, maybe a shake in that day as well. And I do try and make sure I drink plenty of water, usually 4 or 5 liters of water a day. And my meals, I do fast, do you know what I mean, till about 12, 1, maybe sometimes 2 o'clock today. And then I'm going to have 2 or 3 meals between, let's say, midday and 7 p.m. before I go to sleep as well. Thank you so much. Where are we going? How many meals do I need? How many meals do I need right now to take home? 2 little, 1 big. All right, let's do this. Now, this is going to be the biggest philosophy. If you can take anything away from this episode, please just take this one. And it was something I actually didn't really realize until it came out of my mouth not that long ago. I was at a business mastermind and we're all sitting around for lunch, and a couple of the dudes and dudettes at the mastermind asked about food. They wanted help being able to get in shape and they wanted to know what I did. Kind of like what I want to share with you right now. And the idea was really simple at the end of the day, because what came out of me was something that I didn't really know that I was doing until I actually started doing it. And that was a really basic case of this rule that I now apply with all of my food. And that is going to be the case that I ask myself one question. So if you take anything away from this episode, it's going to be this. And that is, if I loved myself, would I ... Now, if I love myself, would I have this meal? If I love myself, would I go to the gym or stay in bed? If I love myself, would I drink water or have a beer? If I love myself, whatever. Apply that to the scenarios that you do, because I think there is some really good wisdom that can come out of this as well. So if you ask yourself, and I actually deem that question in a really specific way. I ask myself the question in a way, if I love myself, because I have struggled in the past with the loving of myself. So that if I love myself, kind of like does a little sidestep around that and kind of does like a little pretending that you don't need to kind of like, oh, I 100% love myself. So you kind of like get around that problem as well. So next time you sit down to a meal, ask yourself, if I love myself, would I eat this meal? Now it comes from a place of you taking radical responsibility for yourself, not someone else telling you. Like, someone can't write a diet on a piece of paper and say, here you go, this is the exact thing that you need to be able to do. That's never going to happen. That's never going to work. You're constantly changing and fluctuating on a day-to-day level. So for you to be able to have consistency with your food, and for you to be able to have consistency to do what you need to do so you can be happy, healthy, performing on a day-to-day level with energy, with vitality, I think this is really important for you to be able to do. And so while I pack a bunch of chicken and meat in this before we go get some veggies, is that enough? I think that's enough. Now, one thing I will say, that this is nothing, I followed like an Ayurvedic principles for quite a while, and especially when it comes to fruit. I love fruit, and I said before that I don't eat sugar. Some people might take that, and why I want to say this, they might take that as like, oh, he doesn't eat fruit. No, I love fruit. But my rule is for myself is I only eat fruit by itself and not with other foods. Bit of an Ayurvedic principle that I picked up and something that I've stuck with, and honestly, it helps my digestion so much. And I just stick with it because I feel better with it. All right, so one more as we get through this process of getting my meals together. This is probably super awkward, but we're going to be doing it anyway. And that is, there's one more rule when it comes to this. And that rule, it's not even really a rule. It's a principle or a guide upon myself at the end of the day. And that is going to be, I do it because it's character building. When it comes to my training, when it comes to my food, when it comes to my health and lifestyle practices, I do it because it's actually good for character building. I don't do it as that this is a direct thing that's going to help me get leaner, get bigger, get in better shape, have more energy. And that one little shift, because I operated for so long, especially coming from as an overweight dude, I operated from the place from, well, I'm doing this because I want to get leaner, I want to have a six pack. That now actually being able to have it, and especially keeping it, it comes from a case of me actually wanting to have good character building. I enjoy being able to feed myself good quality, healthy foods, not stuffing my face with shit, because at the end of the day, I know I show up as a better person as well. And also, if I'm able to do this, and I can stick with this, I get real joy out of it as well. And I think that's really important. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have onions, so I'm gonna stink. Here we go. So as we started this episode, I wanted to share with you some key principles, some key rules, if you want to. I think rules is probably a little bit too harsh to use, to be perfectly honest. But I wanted to share with you things that how I operate when it comes to food, to be able to stay in shape, to have health, energy, vitality on a day-to-day level, and to be able to do it as someone that has life responsibilities. Like, this isn't what I'm trying to do 24/7. It works out to be a really nice side effect, and I think that's one of the coolest parts about it. So when you think about it, it's really quality over quantity. I ask myself the question, if I love myself, would I? And then I do it because it's helping me with my character, with who I am, with how I show up on a day-to-day level. Because I think one of the most important things when it comes to this, I'm even going to stop for a second right now, is if you're constantly saying that you want to eat healthy, you want to do certain things, and you're not doing it at the end of the day, and you keep breaking that promise to yourself, that is poison. That can be poisonous to who it is that you become, because you know when you say something to yourself that it's likely you're going to break that promise to yourself. That's not healthy at the end of the day. So if you decide on doing it, do it. Stick with it. Don't fall flat. Don't fall through. Don't become that person that backs out, that doesn't keep promises, because I just don't think that's good. And that's why I do the character building kind of like test to myself, because I don't want to become that person that isn't really holding truth to himself, because you'll always know that if you've stuck to your promises or not. So I want you to walk away from this right now. I want you to understand that it can be really simple. Now, it doesn't have to be hard the whole time, but it can be really simple, just following these 3 guiding principles for you to be in amazing shape. So I'd love to know, what's the one principle that you're going to be able to use from now? It's not really about you doing all of them all at once, because I've got to be perfectly honest, that's not the case. You can't make tremendous amounts of changes all at once. I think it'll be more important if you, I've got to close this box. It'll be more important if you just choose one principle. And what is that one principle that you want to use from now? I would love for you to put into the comments. And if there are any more questions when it comes to your health, with your energy, with your vitality, and when it comes to you being able to live a life as I really struggle to, I did it. I did it. Look, Mark. I want to hear from you. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.